Okay.
I don't think I'm gonna have to speak, as Cornwall was the one to apprehend and process. I just helped the foot pursuit, so. But I sort of oversaw everything. If you have any questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
The aggravated petty robbery. Explain that one to me. What happened there?
So the aggravated petty robbery. So his phone was stolen. Dragon's phone was stolen, and he claimed in his statement that his phone was stolen during the kidnapping. And when I guess when Cornwood had searched Anto, he was found with Dragon's cell phone.
Which I have because Rip Riley actually in Shift 1 had been putting together a phone book using all the numbers entered into the yellow pages, and he gave it to me. And Dragon Rush's number was in there from who knows how long ago.
Good.
So yeah, I checked the SIM card and I saw the number, and then I matched it with
Kidnapping is
that.
obvious, but where was he kidnapped from?
From sanitation.
Yeah, we need him to testify here, though. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I don't see. He doesn't have a new phone yet, I guess. Let me try.
If you don't have the victim, it would be a better prosecution case to wait and push it to the docket.
So his girlfriend is looking for him because he doesn't have his phone. I have the phone and stuff on him.
I'm gonna try to call Raymond.
Yeah, I called her. Why am I like gonna die here? I'm hungry as shit.
Yes, just
food.
Misdemeanor possession. I'm assuming he just had the moonshine on his person.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the resisting. What happened there, Flop? You say that was you?
Yeah. So there was an individual, Anto, later identified, but an individual in all black, running from Crusade Medical where the shooting happened. I had responded as an assisting unit to that. An officer regained visual of Anto. I attached to that because there was only one unit on it. And I gave verbal warnings just saying, hey, stop running and give it up. Suspect said, we can talk about this while running. I proceeded to then later on tackle him. Sent to placement cuffs. He broke cuffs, I think 2 or 3 times. I can guarantee 2 times at the minimum for me. And then he was later apprehended by Cornwood in that same span.
Okay. Perfect.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I don't see any issues with any of the charges. So, should be fine on that.
I think based on the possession of the missing cell phone on Anto, I think that's where we're getting the aggravated petty robbery from, because it was in the act of a kidnapping. So.
Yeah.
All right. Time for me to get some sleep. All good, Robert. You take care. Appreciate you. What's up, chat?
Can't we just talk to the judge and have him summon Dragon Rush to the court? I don't understand.
Yes.
Okay, let's just do that.
Yeah, we need a summons because he doesn't have a phone. I'll probably get that. Yeah.
So, guys, I got a.
Did you see where Crane went, Siobhan?
I got a
back in his chambers.
Okay.
I got protein cheese puffs, but they're jalapeno cheddar.
Raymond Romanov's trying to look for him.
They're so good.
One more time, sorry.
Raymond Romanov's trying to get in contact with him. He has a new.
I'm trying to find healthier snacks.
Trying to get him here to testify.
Okay, all right.
And they're good.
Then who else is testifying then? Because we're gonna have 3 witnesses, right? Or is it 2?
3.
Okay. I'll testify first because I was first on scene as far as what happened.
Yes, and
then have Flop maybe testify.
So my statement's in the report. The only thing that I was a part of was the resisting arrest. Cornwood was the one that apprehended Anto, searched him, and went through the process. If you want me to testify, I can. But all I could testify to is that I was chasing a man in all black who was seen fleeing from Crusade Medical.
What? Thanks for what?
The bed?
Thanks, Xavier.
I think my statement should suffice, if I'm being honest, but I'll leave that up to you.
The thing is, the best thing would have been Lenny, but he's not here because Lenny was the one who took basically all the statements.
Damn it, where's Lenny Hawk?
Lenny took the statements.
Yeah.
What?
Gotcha.
You're gonna do what, Max?
What the fuck?
Orthopedic
Because
surgeon.
he's old.
Orthopedic surgeon.
Why
playing,
is he
you know,
what
years
the
of
fuck?
playing in the NFL or trying
Yeah,
to.
Lenny. I think Lenny's asleep. I mean, he's he's tired. It's been,
Yeah,
it's been
he's
day
a
for
tired
him.
type of guy.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
The charge is not saved.
The charges are not working at the moment. We cannot save them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, charges don't save, and do we know at all when the exporting issue is going to get fixed? Has there been any word on that?
It's okay, I heard you.
One more time, sorry. I was just reading this report.
The exporting.
Yeah, that's been worked on. It's already. I mean, we talked to the IT guy 2 days ago about it. So,
Okay.
hopefully,
I'll,
soon.
I'll talk to him. I'll see what happens.
Yeah. Why don't you fix it?
Well, I mean, I
yeah,
would.
that's
Flax will
fucking.
CTA on this report.
1 minute.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else to add?
Nothing. I just want to confirm. Do you want me to testify to the resisting? I wasn't there to. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Just, if you say, Cletus, will you the rest of the officers testify? I should testify, and then the witness. That's all we need, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Let's hope he pulls up.
We're going with accomplice to assault with a deadly weapon, active torture. Are we confident in these charges? Because do we have probable cause
Oh,
behind
here's
this?
Dragon. Here's Dragon. Here he is. There he is.
Meow.
Oh God.
Meow.
Yeah, see, I told you.
There's no way.
Hello.
That's our witness.
Please approach the bench, sir.
Meow. It's him, Mr. Mayor. Meow.
What the fuck? What are we doing?
Now
Two
you
meows for
better.
yes, one meow for no.
We got Justin Kidd who can never say, no.
Garner,
And then
do
we
you
got
tell
a guy
Othello to
yelling
come
all the time
approach
now.
the bench?
Is now a bad time to say I'm
Hey.
allergic to cats?
He's not a fucking cat. It's a human being an idiot.
Meow.
It's
a great
just
color
so you
on
know,
Meow, meow.
uh,
So that
Fucking
was-
way. You guys need to
he's
push
in
this to the
distress
docket.
from what happened earlier.
Wait,
from
really?
Kidnapping, so
Why?
he's-
Do you not hear him
that's
talking?
all he
All
can
he's
say.
saying is meow.
meow.
I mean, you just need yes or no questions.
Yeah, but I
This
mean,
before I even got to court.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, what do you want me to do? I can't question him.
No, I know. I'm not
Just
saying
say
it's your
meow.
fault. I'm saying we got ourselves in a shitty situation right now.
Yeah.
He's gonna meow up until the fucking court date. Come on.
This
I
is a
mean,
problem.
here's the truth. Well, he can still write.
What? Yeah.
things.
What if we say? What if we tell him?
Yeah, can
what if we
he can
tell
write
him
things.
One meow.
Meow.
One meow is yes. Two meow
Let me
is
talk to the
no.
judge. Your Honor,
Meow, meow.
um,
Meow, meow,
our
meow,
witness
meow.
turned into a cat.
Well,
Nice.
He didn't turn
Great
into-
witness
he's-
there,
he's
lads.
still-
Real reliable witness.
well, he's
there.
not our witness. He's our victim.
Nice.
He's a witness.
Yeah. Okay.
Anto,
Well, I'm
let's
just
lay
saying.
off the commentary.
So,
They're approaching. I'm approaching.
is this something that we would want to push to the docket? Because we could give him a pen and paper, and he can write out his things. Because he gave us
Does
a
he
statement
write
on pen
anything
and
other
paper.
than meow?
I'm.
Yeah,
Let's find out.
I'm
He
That's
wrote
what he
me.
did it
He
for
wrote
us.
me some paper. He wrote me on a paper to me that the picture is in the report of what he wrote.
Green,
to
I
me.
am okay with letting this go to the docket because it does seem like it apparently is a lot.
I would agree. I think we need to get a couple of additional things done as well.
Well, not to waste everybody's time. If he can write things down and we can ask him questions that way. What the hell?
hey, Dragon.
You understand?
Okay,
that by
calm
going to
down,
the
okay?
docket,
Don't
your
hiss.
client's gonna get
Somebody-
processed, right?
Anto, over here.
Sorry, I could not. Yeah, I am aware.
Oh my God.
Stop.
We, however, are refusing. What's the word I'm looking for? We are refusing a DNA swab at this time, which means I suppose the opposing counsel is able to seek a court order or court sanction for it, but we are denying and not complying with the DNA swab at this time.
Then we would absolutely push for with the violent felonies that are being charged here. We'd absolutely push for the court order.
Flax, is this what? How many witnesses do you have?
3. Myself.
Is this
the
is this
victim,
one
and-
is this one geographic scene or multiple?
This is multiple. This is two incidents in one.
Well, it's two incidences, and we were in the middle of it one scene when another scene happened, and then
It tied back into it.
It
Tied
tied
back
back
into
into
it.
the original scene.
I
This is probably not suitable for bench.
yeah,
I would agree.
exactly.
This is going to be a complete shit show if I try to do this right now.
Yes.
That's why I said
And
I'm
I
okay
think-
with going in the
Yeah,
docket.
I think Siobhan's on the same page.
Yeah, we're on the
Okay.
same
Okay,
level.
talk to your client. Let him know the
Right.
realities here.
Okay, so
What
What
for
about
the
the DNA?
DNA swab? Yeah.
I mean,
because technically, I mean, based on what is it, Act 7 or whatever 7 of the legislation, in the Constitution, Article 7.
yeah, I don't think this is fair to Anto to try to bench trial this or you guys.
I'm trying to
So
figure
here's
out.
what we're gonna do. Given the fact that this is getting pushed to the docket as an appeal, we'll do the following. If the appeal is filed, right, and you know,
appeal?
Anto wins the appeal, then we won't end up collecting the DNA. If no appeal is filed, then the DNA will get collected. So I'm just going to suspend it for now, because I think just the situation where this isn't suitable for bench trial, he's going to get processed. He clearly wishes to contest the charges. So I'll suspend the DNA collection
Thank you.
until either it's filed and the appeal goes through, in which case it will never be collected.
Yes, I'm talking about my
Very
misfortune.
nice. JC?
As soon as I called him, like, whose
Hey.
phone is ringing? I was so confused.
How's it going?
Go good, Oliver. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
We'll step over. We'll go over here. This way we're not in front of the door. How have you been? What's new with you?
I've been doing all right. Not a whole lot that's new.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to catch up with you. I saw
Yeah, of
on the
course.
docket that you dropped the case, right?
Yeah. So, couple reasons for it. I heard through word of mouth from Kit, you guys talked, and I heard kind of your opinion on it. And I thought about something that I feel like you wouldn't have contested. I don't think that the statement from John Paul is it instills doubt.
You are bald as fuck.
But I didn't think that it was enough to, it wasn't, for lack of a better term, the way that the defense painted it was that God came down and kissed them all on the cheek. It was a fucking statement from a felon. No evidence tied to it. It wasn't that great, if I'm being honest. However, within the statute of limitations, we received new ways of processing some evidence in our lab. And the evidence that was found on Murphy Braun was not compatible with finding the evidence that we would have needed in our lab system, and that was well within statute. We also attempted phone subpoenas. We attempted to run the gun once we got those. It all came back inconclusive based on just the machinery that we had. And the point that I made to
I'm working on it.
Captain Slacks, and the point that I made to Chief Justice was, I feel like in good faith, had we been able to actually process a lot of that evidence, new evidence would have come to light to possibly put doubt in Murphy Braun being the guy. And I think that this was a very one-off case of that. So Kit and I spoke earlier, and I made the same point to her, and she agreed that had we been able to actually run the gun properly, and had we been able to, let's say, even collect evidence on scene, stuff like that, definitely think that there would have been more. And the issue that I ran into was that all happened within statute. It wasn't like this happened during the appeal process. We got this new machinery. We had the ability to do it. The evidence found was unable to, be processed in that way. So I felt like in good faith, the dropping of the charge made more sense. I think the evidence and the information we used to push in court
Hey, so who's gonna process my client? So we can
on
get him
the day
doing
of court, or I guess during that yelling is so annoying. I can't. I'm so bad with it, Oliver. We'll walk over here. I'm so sorry. I can't walk and chew gum. But I think
that's all right. I hear you.
based on I guess all that and what was I guess brought up, I felt, and I think Kit also felt, and I guess based on what I heard from you, you also felt, again, this came from Kit, so if it was misconstrued, I apologize. It sounded more like we were sort of on the same page. Because regardless of if that statement was true or not from John Paul, it did instill doubt.
Yeah, I think we certainly are of the same mind here. I think, in my view, I think the guy, Mr. Paul, that is, I think he's a liar. And I still do think that Braun is guilty. I just don't think that, I don't think we can prove that Paul lied, right? And I think with that in mind, I think we were already at the edge, basically at the edge, right? Where, we were just a little bit over the line when it came to proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And I think this knocked us back just because there is, generally speaking, an inherent trustworthiness when a person is making a confession like that. Even though I still think the guy's a liar, I just don't think we could prove that he's lying. And I think we'd need to prove he's lying for us to say that there is still proof beyond reasonable doubt at present. I don't know. Did you guys end up questioning him a second time?
I have tried every day the last 7 days to contact, text, and reach out to him, and I have failed to get a response or an answer of the phone or a response of any of my text messages, to the point where I felt like if I had waited any longer, it would just be drawing out something that was really didn't need to happen at this point.
Yeah, I hear you. I think, I'm going to be honest, I think there's something up. There's something going on here. I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's something going on, because if he drops a confession and then out of nowhere just ghosts you, it just doesn't make any sense, And
it feels slimy and shitty. And the way I explained this to Bailey was this felt very targeted. I don't care what John Paul thinks of Murphy Braun. I don't care what the opinion was of him. The situation that pissed me off to no end, and even Justice Crane brought this up, and I bit my tongue. Because according to everybody, there's no way to cure this. But what we dealt with and what I felt was the Constitution was essentially abused.
Hey, not son-in-law.
Hi, not dad.
Meow. Meow meow.
The overall consensus is that I feel like the Constitution got abused.
Thank you, Ray. My wife's doing a bench press.
Statute of limitations is 30. And because in the appeal process, we are unable to charge John Paul with the crime. If he's being honest, we have to take it at face value. It can be used in the appeal process based on the way it's written in the Constitution. But because the new evidence on an old case past 30 days was brought in, we can use it as new evidence, but we can't actually charge anybody with new evidence. So what was fucked up was I just kind of shook my head and thought about it. Anybody can hide under a shell, wait till the 31st day, come out of their shell and admit to stuff. And I think that sets a horrible precedent on our Department of Justice. And to think that I can't get in touch with him now, something is going on and I don't like it. Do I think that he's still guilty? I think he is. And I think after the comments he made about Bailey at the end of the trial, the comments Murphy made up to me personally and the comments that were made to you during everything, not to mention that I had to find out based on accident looking through the report, or I guess our reports, I heard that you had some hiccups that happened where you were hurt. A lot of this feels targeted and fucked up. It doesn't make sense to me, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I definitely think there's something going on, to be honest with you. I agree with you that it's really just a terrible situation. I don't know. Like, I think that even if he was telling the truth, right? The fact that he waited so long to do it, I think inherently diminishes the credibility of his statement that he would conceal the truth for so long only to reveal it once he knew that nothing could be done, you know? And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's the fact that there's also no other evidence to support that he was there involved at all.
That's what
and
I'm
that
saying.
I watched the interrogation too, and he was tripping up a bunch. I think at one point he even asked like Slacks to confirm whether or not a fact was true, right? And I don't know. There was a lot in his statement that, if you take it all together, I don't think makes him credible. But I think that just the terrible thing is here, we just don't have a whole lot of evidence to say that he did lie, right? And if we could just say this guy is a liar, I think that we're basically where we were with the conviction. But the fact that we don't, and there's nothing conclusively that we can point to and say, this makes him a liar, this makes this statement untrue, just because there's not a whole bunch of evidence with the case we had, there is no accountability. It's very unfortunate.
Zero. The other thing too, because I missed this on the docket, Crane asked me about this. I missed it. Did you see the whole thing with his therapist?
Yeah, I read through that. I'm going to be honest, I don't believe that. I think the impression that I get from Braun is that he would say or do anything he could to get this conviction overturned. And I don't know. Listen, I have no idea exactly what method they used or how trustworthy this doctor is. But I think just without any of that information, my initial thought would be that there was a lot of suggestion and a lot of motive for there to be a certain outcome with the test that they ran. I don't know if that's true.
Yes, I'll explain to you kind of what's going on after. Well, not when you texted me. Oh, Jesus. Woo! Sorry, I had all that built up frustration. It was out of love though, because you've done great during this case. I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's all right.
So when you texted me,
I have a bandage.
Yeah, I do. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
When you texted me, I was in the middle of talking with Crane, and he asked me, he goes, did you happen to see the stuff with the therapist? And I said, no. So we're sitting in the meeting room, and I looked, and I said, do you want my unprofessional answer or my professional answer? He goes, I want it all. I said, is no comment a comment? He goes, yeah. I said, great. No comment. Because I had the same feeling that something was slimy and shitty and just he was going to do anything he could. But it didn't matter. Because, you know, I'll tell you, the therapist, very credible. No questions about her. She's great. But just from Murphy's stance, I still think it's a heap of shit. To be honest, I had a lot of respect for Murphy. And I have a lot of really strong opinions about how I should feel right now regarding everything that has happened during this appeal process. It's weird to me to think that John Paul waited so long. I didn't even put timeline into effect. But you're right. I think it's a little weird that, you know what? I don't want to use the word weird. I don't want that to be like misconstrued or like taken the wrong way. I think it was strange that John Paul waited so long to confess. And I think it was strange that a lot of this came out after the fact. And the only thing Murphy Braun has talked about is that prosecution is just delaying this as long as possible. Innocent man out here suffering without his job, even though the reality is he's not an innocent man. He wasn't an innocent man. He was found guilty. And all he could claim is that there was more than enough to prove otherwise. Yet their entire appeal process was based on the premise that their defense fucked up tremendously and couldn't prove this man's innocence at all.
Yeah, I think that just the way that he's conducted himself, listen, I get he may legitimately think that he's innocent, although I personally still think he's guilty of it. But regardless,
1000%.
even if he thinks he's innocent and thinks he was wrongly accused and was been strung through the ringer, I think that just the complete lack of decorum and professionalism from him, just as a person, I don't know. I think it was just quite disappointing to see that anyone that sat on the bench would act like that. So I don't know. I fully agree with you there.
The thing that I'm gonna say something that's very unprofessional and very personal. Part of me hopes he does not get his job back after the comments he made to Judge Bailey after that case. He practically threatened the man's life. Not to mention... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think I was just going to say, you're absolutely right. I think the comments he was making, they were outrageous.
It was not something that somebody who had the process of going through an appeal. In fact, I hate to say it, I even told Braun that, because he said that it's all over. His life's ruined. And I told him that he has the chance to appeal. That's there for him. And I told Crane that I wanted to set precedent on the closure of this case. And he said, if you're worried about setting precedent, just don't set anything at all. Because if you don't say anything, then there is no precedent to set. But I wanted to make the point that if anybody thinks they're going to come forward and believe that a single statement is going to prove a man's innocence, they're wrong. But it didn't get to that point. I did what I think was the best case out of this, and to just call this a one-off and to walk away from it knowing that there was a lot of slimy and shitty things that we had no control over. I feel good and I'm proud in the way that we all conducted. I'm very thankful and happy in the way that you conducted the case. Contrary to all the, excuse my French, bullshit that you had to go through during that entire court case from the entire defense team. I will never look at anybody the same for trying to judge the credibility of our police work through the recording, as well as I will never look at Murphy the same based on the way that the whole appeal process went and the way that it's been turned that we are just simply trying to delay this out because a poor man is just innocent in his fashion. I don't think I'm looking at anyone the same after that. I'm very disappointed. I have my opinions and my opinions stay regardless of what the law says. I don't think we were going to win that case based on how this appeal has gone. So...
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this definitely is sort of a one-off situation. I think if this was a similar situation, that we had more physical evidence or more witnesses, then this wouldn't be an issue, right? I think that the main problem was that we were already running on not a lot of evidence to corroborate the story that we had. And then him coming in and providing this confession, even if it's not fully trustworthy, I think that it just pushes us back under the line to where, we just don't have enough to say it's, we can't stand by the conviction anymore is what I think. And I do think this is a one-off. I don't think there's going to be a persistent thing. And even if it is, I think there will be sufficient evidence to really refute any potentially false confessions going forward. So I think, it is what it is in this case. And I guess just look forward is the best thing to do here.
100%. I hope that you know and feel that you conducted yourself well through this whole thing. Your help was so tremendous. And I think we were all on the same page through and through. I know it got heated at a lot of, points, but I think overall the way that we all conducted ourselves was very professional, and I think that it was in good faith, and I think it's still in good faith. I just think that anyone assuming that that was enough ever, it just baffles me. I don't know. I'm thankful for everything that you did, and I'm sure this is not going to be the last time we'll have the pleasure of working together in cases. This one's, I think, a one-off, and I think we just have to look at it that way. And I just hope to God that Murphy Braun doesn't fall back in place doing the same shit with someone else. Put simply.
are you from, Doug?
I don't know.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. I listen. I think that you and Archer, my hat rather, I guess, goes off to both of you. I think you conducted a thorough investigation here. You know, I think you're right. It's a one-off. It is what it is, and you know, get them next time.
100%. No sweat for me. I think I'm all good. I was gonna ask you actually, did you ever want any payment for anything that you did to help us?
I don't really tend to charge, so
Okay.
if you want to pay me, it's up to you. But I don't typically charge anyone.
I gotcha. I'll forward you over a little something. I don't have a lot of money at the moment. I did just buy a house, but I'd love to be able to cover something as a thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course, not a problem. Sounds like my bench trial just fell through, which is good. Did it?
Fell through?
Yeah, our one and only witness. We had 3 witnesses. We had 2 officers that were going to be testifying, and our victim and witness, victim/witness, apparently only says meow right now and is unable to talk and cannot answer questions.
Were they like that before?
No.
What happened?
Well, as you can see, oh my god. Bad timing on that. Temporary number, meow on yellow pages, meow. Dragon Rush.
That's odd. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, by the way, were you reached out by any of Mr. Braun's attorneys regarding this case? Because Archer was telling me something
multiple times.
Okay. What happened?
You know, I do actually feel like this is a good point to tell this to you, because I forgot actually that this got brought up. So Xavier reached out. So 2 things happened. When Xavier reached out originally, I told him, I said, I would want to talk to Kit first to kind of discuss sort of the feelings I have. I had already began the process of feeling inclined to, you know, potentially drop charges, but I said that that's not up to me. It was also as involved in this case as much as I was, and it would not be right for me to go behind her back to make a choice without discussing, at the minimum, right? And I also mentioned that I wanted to speak with you.
Dragon nuts?
For lack of a better term. Hello.
Oh my god.
Hello, goodbye.
I mean, there is no running in the courthouse. They say nothing about driving in the courthouse, though, I guess.
I guess so.
Whatever. That just happened. But Xavier, for lack of a better term, said, "Don't forget, Oliver works for you." And I thought that was a strange comment, because you don't work for us, you work with us. He essentially wanted me to go behind prosecution's back. I don't think it was set up this way, but it felt like he wanted us to go behind his back. Yeah, your back, excuse me. And come up to a conclusion. And I thought that was strange, and I thought it didn't make sense. And I told Xavier, give me 24 hours to talk with Kit, and I'll get back to you. So 24 hours passes. I get a 311 from Central Dispatch that there are, quote unquote, multiple lawyers requesting flop dugong in the lobby. And I thought, multiple? Like, what the fuck? So I go out and see, and it was Xavier, Murphy Braun, Siobhan, and like 2 other people sitting on a bench in front of the lobby of PD, excited and waiting for me to walk out and, you know, with holy water in my hand to splash over everybody and say, "Congratulations, Murphy, it's all over." So without acknowledging everybody, I just pulled Xavier aside and said, "Listen, haven't talked to Kit yet. I'm not coming up with a decision on dropping charges until we're on the same page. And his response was, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate though, because an innocent man still is out of a job. I said, well, the innocent man's going to have to wait. And then Murphy got smart with me over Twitter and stated that he apparently, was disappointed that he waited all these hours to find out that he got ghosted, and then I refused to have a face-to-face with him. So professionally speaking, I don't think it's my business to talk to Murphy one-on-one. It's my job to talk with the defense team that he hired to discuss anything about his client. So I didn't talk to Murphy through this whole thing. I felt it was within good faith to not talk to him, and that the only person I should have been talking to was Xavier, if anything. And outside of that, I didn't even think how defense came by. It felt shitty. And I know that I have a lot of respect for Xavier. I really do. I think he's a great attorney. But through that whole thing, I did feel like, he was trying to force the hand of everybody to essentially just drop charges.
I'm going to talk to Xavier then, because, I don't know what the exact timeline of this was, but I had a conversation with him. I think it might have been the day after the interrogation. And I told him quite plainly that we weren't going to make, no movement was going to happen on the appeal until I talked to you and Archer. And I thought I made it quite clear that I didn't want him, talking, basically that nothing was going to happen until we had a full discussion. So I don't know why he would reach out to you and try and harass you guys to drop the charges. I think he probably tried to, like you said, go behind my back. The way I see this is it's akin to a defense attorney trying to talk to a plaintiff in a case. If they're suing someone, the defense attorney goes and tries to harass that plaintiff into dropping the lawsuit without their lawyer present. They shouldn't be doing that. I don't know why he would try and talk to you guys unless you were willing to do so. That makes me a little bit annoyed, to be honest with you.
I'm sorry. I didn't know the extent of how far this really went. I don't know the full timeline either, I guess, from your side of things, but there were multiple attempts where we were reached out to. And I didn't have any bad blood or any negative feeling about Xavier through the process. It was just one of those, after it happened, and after he walked away and I spoke with Kit, and she had I think a very professional outburst in sort of what Xavier was talking about. She was like, no, fuck no. What? And I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, now that you mention it, he was kind of trying to force the hand, and it could have been viewed as neglect on, your part, which I didn't think was fair or respectful at all. So
that is interesting. Yeah, no, I think that he should have gone, I think any defense attorney, if there is a prosecutor side, should talk to the prosecutor and not go to the officers and try and convince the officers that made the arrest to drop the charges. I think I think it's not good for you guys, because you're just getting harangued about trying to drop charges if you're not taking active. This is a little bit different, right? But sure. I think him basically trying to go to you guys and convince you to drop the charge, I think that was wrong of him. So I'm going to talk to him. Not a fan of that.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, I want to make clear, I got a lot of respect for Xavier. I do think that alone, and based on what you're telling me now, it definitely seems like he did that, and I think would be worth maybe just having a conversation with him about. That puts a new light. I think it sounds like it was more disrespect on your side than it was my side, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I was talking with him about the case, actually, during that first meeting. He was very adamant that the case should be dropped.
Anyone who doesn't know who this
is,
this
point,
is
I was trying to
Oliver,
explain
who
the
defended us,
what was going to happen,
or prosecuted the case with us.
I needed to talk to you guys first before any moves were made. He basically just walked away as I was talking to him. So I don't know if he just got mad and then went and talked to you guys to see what he could do, but I don't know.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I definitely felt, very interested about, or I felt very, I don't know, to have people refer to Murphy Braun as the innocent man while he was a record felon is just mind-boggling to me. So might be worth a conversation. I'm sorry that I guess that's the way that it's being perceived from your perspective, because that is what it seems like, is that it sounds like he sort of went behind your back, which was not, I think, in good light, put simply.
Yeah, I'll have a conversation with him to clear it out.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't think he should have done that. Not a huge fan if that's what happened. So hopefully we can sort of set things straight, because I don't know why he would do that.
Yeah. If you don't mind, keep me up to date with that. I am curious, because I do have a lot of respect for Xavier, but it does sound like there was definitely some other maybe perceived negativity during this process that definitely I think should be addressed.
Yeah, maybe. Listen, I get, wanting to be a very ruthless and outstanding advocate for your client and doing everything you can. But I don't know, like doing something like trying to talk to you guys after I basically outright said not to.
Hey, you got a running pass?
I'm a fan about that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they're $2,000 a month.
Yeah, I
I'll
don't.
sort it out though.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know what's going on. Jesus. All right. Well, if you can give me an update on that, I would be interested. Unless, respectfully, if it doesn't get that far, as long as you guys are able to work out the situation, that's good. But hopefully that conversation doesn't get too insane.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep you posted.
Well, perfect. Awesome. I think I have to go have another meeting, so I'm probably gonna go do that. But if you need me ever at all for anything, please do not hesitate to reach out. I would love to work with you, I guess, in the future, or even possibly, who knows, against you, depending on the type of cases you take. But I would love to. I would love to work with you, down the road. And if you ever just need anything at all from the PD side, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Hey, appreciate you. We'll
Yeah.
do. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Absolutely. Let me go catch this other meeting before I forget and lose interest.
Have fun.
Thank you. I would love to run to this meeting, but I can't. I don't want to get billed. All right. Hello.
Hello, brother of mine.
I need to go to another meeting. I'm sorry.
You're okay.
I need to run to the meeting, but I can't.
Thank you.
We gotta talk to Barrick. All right. Murphy case is done. It's done. Meeting guy today? Oh, yeah. So, to anybody who is still with me and hasn't fallen asleep to the legal jumbo bullshit, let me go and catch you up to speed. The question is, can we get felony obstruction of justice on John Paul? If this was within statute, yes. It is out of statute. The answer is no. The way that the purge is written is that, or the way that legislation is written is that statute of limitations is 30 days. The new evidence in the appeal was past the 30-day mark. So because it was a continuation of evidence, we are not allowed to charge John Paul with that information. Now, with that said, because we can't charge John Paul with it based on the way that the Constitution's written, in the appeal process, we are allowed, or the defense, so Murphy Braun, is allowed to submit new evidence but we are not allowed to charge for the new evidence. So the new evidence that was brought forward was from the defense. So we are not allowed to actually do anything with it. That was just new submitted evidence, was essentially a giant admission. So what Flop was getting at is that, you know, this is fucked up, essentially. It's fucked up that someone hid under a shell, waited so long to admit to the crime, and then just is allowed to walk away scot-free, essentially. Hey, Shin, what's going on? Thanks for the 36 months. I appreciate you. How you doing? I'm sad because I hear the same as Crane. You sounded more interested in the W than justice. Absolutely not. No, that wasn't the case at all. What's annoying about the process, though, is that the new evidence, the thing that everyone is missing is that a statement is not enough to constitute the dropping of a charge, right? It's never gonna be enough. If somebody comes forward with a confession, it makes no fucking sense. It just doesn't, right? You can't come forward and just claim that, oh, this all goes away now because somebody came forward, right? So in the issue with John Paul's statement is that it was an admission. The problem, though, is that John Paul has never come up in this entire investigation. And because the report is now on the docket, public for literally anybody to view, anyone can study the incident report and is able to make the assumption that, oh, these are the missing pieces. I'll just talk about the missing pieces. And for us to take John Paul's statement and go, all right, dropping all charges because John Paul came forward, would have been complete. That would have set a horrible precedent for the PD. That we will just drop any appeal that comes forward if you wait past statute. They were being charged with, even if it's past 30 days, I feel like you should be able to push obstruction. Oh, I agree with you. That was the point that Flop was making, though. There was no hold on. There was no hold on. How do I say this? There was no there was no spite to hold the charge. In fact, just to be fucking clear, the only thing we waited for in this entire appeal was for Crane to take the case so that we can go to trial. That was not up to us to decide. That was not up to us to choose. We didn't submit the appeal. The defense submitted the appeal. We were on the time frame of the defense. It was up to Murphy Braun and his team to get a trial going, right? That wasn't up to Flop. All Flop did was sit there. We were ready to contest the charge and bring it back to trial. But the issue that we ran into was, you know, the pushback. He submitted the thing about, you know, about this, the document about the recovery and remembering all this information. For us to negate that would not have made any sense. So this happens again. Could you or someone challenge the legislation to be changed? Nope. Nope. Shin, thank you for the 36 months. I appreciate you. Yeah, no, we can't push for new legislation to be changed. We just talked to Chief Justice and we just tried to make the point. But yeah, no, we were not looking for a W. I really, man, dude, I don't know. I really hate being perceived as a fucking W cop, because that's really not what that was about at all. I was about the good role play of what could come from actually contesting charges and actually following through the process and actually having good story. But if that's how people are perceiving it, then no one's perceiving it the right way at all. I didn't give a flying fuck about the W. I never did, and I never will. But Flop's gonna have strong opinions about the case. So, I don't know. I'm a customer, so I fully understand you aren't looking for the W. Oh, I'm not saying you are. I mean, Smoker was saying that, you know, oh, W then justice, which is I just a fucking insane take. I don't know. I don't think Crane perceived that at all either. And if that's the way that he took it, I'm surprised. But
can we get a 52 off of East Joshua Road?
I don't know.
On train tracks, please.
There's so much more that happened to that than just getting Murphy Braun off of his charge. The only person that had a problem in the appeal process was Murphy Braun. To be clear, right? Not to mention that Xavier came to Flop and stated, well, this poor innocent man is waiting for his day on trial. This poor innocent man is a convicted and known felon according to his record. There is no question about that. He's a convicted felon.
We're on channel 2.
So I saw it as Detective Flop investigating as best he could with what he had. Here's the issue with that, is that the only people that see that are any of my viewers that were around in 3.0. The people that are perceiving it negatively are the people that are only seeing it from the perspective of 4.0. I like to dig and actually create good story from things, and I think that overall the story was great. And I think that the roleplay that that was brought in was really good for all parties, right? But for anybody to believe that we were just in the mindset of we just want the W and nothing else is just not a healthy take at all. So yeah, I'm being a little blunt about this, but I'm also trying. What the fuck? Uh-oh. Is Crane around, dude? Oh, fuck. Nope. I can't get rid of his DNA. Not the W, but because you can't prosecute John Paul, you want to dismiss huge information to support your case. What are you saying? The fact that we can't prosecute John Paul is a huge problem. And I think inherently, anybody who doesn't see that as a problem doesn't understand how this process works. If somebody admits to the murder after statute of limitations and is just allowed to walk away from that after a full admission, that is inherently a problem. And the only way you change things in roleplay is to address problems. A statement isn't evidence. Nothing that John Paul said No, what is the problem is that you convict an innocent. According to the evidence, he's not innocent. He's not innocent. He's innocent now because we dropped the charge. The man's not innocent. He wasn't innocent. He was found guilty in court. Smoker, did you see the court case that happened? Did you watch the 4-hour court case that occurred? And what time and set up the 5-hour court case that occurred? Because I don't think we're on the same page. Murphy was guilty. We did not submit the appeal. The appeal is on the hands of Murphy Braun and his team to pursue and follow. All we need to do in that situation is go to court and either appeal or contest. You're probably not even in the same book. Apparently. I feel like I'm being very black and white with this, and I'm being very this is the process that's occurred. This is what happened. We weren't holding anything over Murphy Braun's head. You know what I mean? Nothing was held over his head. Nothing was being held against him because of the process of anything. The issue is that nobody on scene. The system failed big. Sure, the system failed big. Yeah. The issue that we ran into is that nobody that questioned John Paul was on the initial scene. Flop was the only one that was first on the scene, right? So everybody said that if we were to actually drop charges, we wanted to get something physical from John Paul. Because the question of contesting the charge was if John Paul had any actual evidence or information to, you know, like for example, Murphy Braun's phone. If Flop was able to bring him in and ask him about the discrepancies that only Flop would know, hey, Mr. Paul, do you know what happened on Murphy Braun's phone? He didn't have it on his person, right? And John Paul was able to provide the phone right then and there, charges would have been dropped. But it wasn't about waiting for trial. It was, we were ready to go and fight this anyway. They wanted us to drop the charges, and we refused because we had no physical evidence to actually back it up. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? Okay. I'm just making sure. And also, Duck, just so I can show this to you actually, because I had to do this before. Here we go. So, where is it? Statute of limitations. Persons, law enforcement, or civilian have 30 days from the time a crime or crimes are committed to press charges upon a citizen without probable cause or with probable cause and evidence. No case is to be accepted outside of the statute, right? So in other words, we have 30 days from the time a crime is committed to press charges. Put simply, we have 30 days from the day. So Murphy Braun found gun in hand. From the day that we found that, we had 30 days to press charges on anyone that was involved. We only got Murphy Braun because everybody else stayed quiet. The appeal process says every citizen has the right to appeal charges placed upon them unless a judicial power dismissed or adjourned, blah, blah, blah. Citizens have 30 days to appeal charges from the day. Citizens have 15 days. Citizens may only appeal once, 2 chances. So essentially, during the appeal process is that you have 30 days to appeal. You have 30 days to appeal the charge after court happens. An appeal process involves new evidence. So the problem is that John Paul came forward with new evidence, but the giant fuck you on John Paul's evidence is that his statement was after the 30 days of the statute of limitations. So what happened was John Paul came in, you know, whatever it was, 31 or more days later, admitted to everything, and there's no way that we were able to actually do anything with that information. All we know is that it was being used as evidence for the